Hey, this is Tom with Viral Solutions, and today we're going to talk about maintaining a strong visual brand on social media. So here's a question that you probably don't ask yourself every day. Do you have a strong visual brand on social media? I mean, I doubt this is top of your mind, right? But anyway, if not, really and seriously, you could be wasting a perfect opportunity to inspire and engage your audience, because it is something that you need to think about for your brand. You could be missing out on the chance to solidify your marketing position as a business your customers can easily identify and trust, because that's what brand is. It's creating advocates, it's creating loyalty, it's building that trust and something that's instantly identifiable. Some business owners still think that just being on social media is enough. Well, as we all know, organic posts and things of that nature, it's a pay-to-play marketplace, so just being there isn't good enough. So any marketer worth their salt will tell you that just being there isn't good enough, and thinking that is a false thought. The fact is that if you don't create a strong visual brand, you're not doing everything you can to extend your reach on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever platform your target audience is using and hanging out at. Because that's the biggest reason you use organic posts on social, is for organic reach, even though it's going to be minimal in its impact. And it takes years and years to build up that audience. So perhaps right now you're thinking, I'm not a creative person. You're thinking that building a visual brand on social media sounds like something outside your wheelhouse. And that could be, and you may not have time for it. But don't worry, when it comes to creating graphics and logos, and there's plenty of in-house and outsourced graphic designers to be able to help you with that. But what you should be focusing on is being consistent, being unique, being active in your social media approach. Several times a day, day in, day out. Now, if this still sounds intimidating, I'm going to go over a short list of ways to develop and solidify your visual brand. How to create, maintain a really good brand on social media. A little sip of coffee there. Now, we've already mentioned this one, but let's talk about being consistent. I mean, you know how you can quickly spot content from major companies such as Starbucks and Nike. And that's because these industry powerhouses have put a lot of time and effort into building consistent, eye-catching, easily recognizable brand images. Nikes are usually very clean, not cluttered, bold, don't spend a lot of space on their logo, and it's consistent in its look, consistent in its point. And they have been doing this for many, many, many years. And albeit not all that successfully from the start. Starbucks. Both Starbucks and Nike, what they're trying to do with their consistent posts is paint a picture of what you should feel like as a lover of the brand. They don't do posts of, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great, bye, 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 bye. No, 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 no. When the consumer looks at your graphic, your post, what do they feel like? Can they picture themselves in that scene? You'll notice their visual branding is also almost always the same across all channels, not just social. Just take a gander at their print ads, their website, their newsletters, their videos, their TV commercials, their Instagram posts. They have a very similar vibe to them. I mean, Starbucks, and what I'm looking at right now. If your coffee isn't perfect, we'll make it over. If it's still not perfect, make sure you're in a Starbucks. The logo is just on pretty much the cup, and then in the bottom right corner, it might take up a 30-second of the article. It's mostly a visual of a person with their latte. The cup popped off, foam all over the place, you know? See a pattern? They're all nearly identical in the terms of font, color scheme, imagery, message. Now, that's not to say you have to post the exact same thing everywhere. You can actually get quite boring for people who follow you on multiple platforms. However, the visual elements you or your graphic design team choose should be similar enough that your audience could determine where a post originally came from before even glancing at the company name. Example, you see a star athlete in a black and white photo celebrating. Odds are pretty high that's a Nike thing without even reading the post or looking for the logo. You want to make it even easier to ensure consistency in your posts, sure. So consider using templates. Knowing what a post should look like with regard to color, logo placement, font, overall layout, that can speed up the design process. It can help you optimize your visual branding efforts. So get together with your team, help them create a template, advertising guidelines, colors, fonts, style guide, that type of thing. What type of images acceptable, not, color, black and white, people, pets, what's in it. All right? Consistency. Next point would be to be unique. So it's good to study your competition and what they're doing, especially if you've got a competitor that does this really well. But then you got to take your own spin to that. Another coffee drink. So you got to be unique. I mean, there are a lot of businesses on social media. A lot, right? So there's so much content to wade through. Users give very little time to each post to see. They pretty much just scroll by it. So you need to stand out, but you don't need to stand out so much that you get laughed at. Just remember that the average human attention span is about 8 seconds. That's according to Adweek, a post by John Stevens. Yeah, 8 seconds. I'd say that's probably long. So anyway, that's why it's crucial to stop them in their tracks and encourage them to pay closer attention to who you are and what you have to offer. How do you accomplish that? By being unique and setting yourself apart from the crowd. Easier said than done. But given that humans are such visual creatures, a great way to increase your chances of attracting attention from your target audience is by incorporating colorful, relevant, one-of-a-kind images into your visual brand. Remember that graphics can make or break a post. Choose a boring or completely unrelated stock image and your audience will blow by it faster than you can say lost opportunity. Now, if you take a little time to build up your visual brand on social media by selecting original graphics that hit home in regard to a problem or a desire, remember, you want that graphic to make the person seeing it visualize themselves. One we like to use at Viral Solutions is a guy, doing a high five, huge smile. It's because that's how we want our customer to feel when they work with us. So they got to get it. So have your team personalize those visual elements, those original visual elements, as much as possible. I realize that takes a lot of time to do if you've never done this before. And that's how you can be unique to distance yourself from competitors, by having original images, unique color scheme, logo, font choice. Now the next step is to be active. Now we get this a lot from customers. Especially in the early stages of marketing, customers get enamored with, hey, somebody liked my post. Oh my goodness, I got tons of views and shares on this thing. Well, great. When we get 500 of those consistently all the time, then we're onto something. And I'm telling you, being active with your branding is something that takes years. Procter & Gamble and all the big boys have done this for decades. Decades. They didn't just build their brand overnight, and they don't stop. So the quickest and most effective way to ensure your brand is solidified in your audience mind is what? Making sure they see it over and over and over again. When somebody calls you complaining, they've seen it too many times, you know you're doing a good job. So posting on a regular basis is key. The first few years, the overall reach or whatever, that's going to be controlled by whether you're in a pay-to-play version or not. If you're just purely doing organic, it's going to be low. But don't let that disappoint you. Keep it up. Just don't spend too much time on it, but just be consistent and be active. You want to avoid posting just for posting's sakes. I mean, you want to do good announcements, events, promotions, coupons, testimonials, okay? Don't be too pitchy. Keep in mind that social media is used by people because they don't trust your company's speak. They don't trust what's necessarily on your website. They like to go to social media and see that there's a lot of people that enjoy your brand. Okay? So if you just post a post, you run the risk of people unfollowing you and viewing you as a spammer. And the algorithms work so that if they engage, they'll see again. So that's why you want to rotate in those cool, funny things, humor, make yourself feel approachable, or coupons or whatever. Okay? You got to get that click. Not all the times. One out of 6 or 8 is good enough. So when you go to rotate your schedule, think about events. Now, they don't have to be events that you're doing, but events that you think are worthy of promoting that tie to your brand. Maybe you are a retail store that sells t-shirts. And maybe you sell some Nike material. So you might want to repost some Nike stuff that you think is cool. Or maybe the people that manufacturer of your product, or having an anniversary, or maybe some customer of yours just got married, stuff like that. Those are worthy events to post. New products, new services, updates, changes to products and services, seasonal topics. How's the weather impacting your store? And blog content. Always good. Those posts will demonstrate value to your audience and show that you're an active participant and you're a real business, and that you're not always just trying to sell them things. So by consistently posting about things that are actually of interest to your audience, you can increase the likelihood of them stopping. And if you're not sure what they are interested in, I realize you're always going to rely on what you're interested in, and you're under pressure to drive revenue and sales. That's not good. Ask your audience what is it they'd like to see more of, and give it to them. Don't worry about whether your organic posting is having an actual ROI. I spent X so many hours doing this. That means I have to have a Y for sales. No, this is branding. It's loyalty. It's a long-term play. So the takeaway should be that creating and maintaining a strong visual brand on social media takes work. You'll likely need to enlist the services of some talented graphic designers and social media experts. And there's always a chance that you won't hit it out of the park on your first try. I mean, just look at how many major companies have changed their look and approach over the years. By putting in the time and effort, you can better connect, engage, resonate with members of your target audience whom you hope to eventually turn into customers. So if you look at your social media presence and you find that it could use some improvement, consider implementing new ways to optimize your visual brand. If you're not getting lots of likes and follows and shares, that's okay. It's a pay-to-play environment. If you're not a paid advertiser, you're not going to get a lot of that. But there could be another explanation. And it may be you're not making a big enough impression. It may be you spend too much time pushing yourselves upon people rather than pulling them into liking you. And that can be solved by presenting your business in a positive and memorable way. And if you need any help, you can reach out to Viral Solutions at viralsolutions.net. We have a great blog, about 700, 800 articles. Don't be afraid to get in touch with us. You can also call us at 888-816-1222.